What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I am joined by the one, the only, the handsome
Gersh1.
And we're back at it, answering your questions in another Q&A, sit and talk, sit and answer, called For the Greater WAAAGH.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, simply comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. Also, in the title, we will mostly always have For the Greater WAAAGH at the end of the title so that you know it's a Q&A, so that you know that. You know who I'm talking to?
All right. I know who you're talking to.
So that is what Madara Yuki Hamisusuke did. He asks, he has two questions. The first one is, you think there could be a human empire in the Milky Way galaxy that would be like a Necron tomb world? Billions of humans in stasis under the surface of a planet, where they hide from the downfall of humanity. Then they wake up, and shit escalates. Not exactly like a tomb world, but I do see human populations being in stasis.
Yeah, kind of like the Matrix. Bless. Emperor bless the...
Well, the Matrix is the Matrix, though.
Right, but like they're kind of in stasis because they're still like in those little embryo thingies.
Yeah. I would agree with you on that one.
Don't.
Okay, sorry. So the way I see that happening is back in the day when I was just a teenager.
So like now?
Yeah, the Emperor, no, not the Emperor. Humanity sent out colonization fleets, and within those colonization fleets, of course, humans were in stasis. Because a lot of those people had to travel a long, long way. Ooh, that far. So now, it could have crash landed, but the chambers where they had all those people, because it would be like thousands and thousands of people in stasis, they would wake up. Think of that movie with Star-Lord and Jennifer Aniston. No, not Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, Passengers.
Yeah.
You're talking about, what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence.
There you go. Kind of like that. Also, a traveling colonization ship could have accidentally gotten stuck when they were doing the small warp jump, and actually, time itself could have been extremely slow in the warp and fast in real space. So now in the 42nd millennium, that colonization ship appears back, and you have that. So you can do that, right?
Right.
Now, as far as like humans going underground to just ride out the night, there is another planet. If you check out the book Eisenstein, I think it's just Xeno Threat or something like that. They talk about like this planet where they ended up realizing that the planet has a cycle of X amount of days that it's just like everything is frozen. You can't really survive. So what they did is that for that time period, it's either like 90 days or like a couple years, I can't remember. But anyways, the whole population goes into chambers and then they just shut down. Like they all go to sleep, and then once the planet starts warming up again, then they all get reanimated and stuff like that.
That's
which is pretty
cool.
crazy, yeah. Everybody ends up dying in there, but spoiler alert.
I mean, the Chow do it. Because they don't use the warp to travel, so they kind of go into stasis while they're going from planet to planet or point A to point B. So,
yeah. Next question.
This one is by dfool06. Can you guys show us how to make the sign of the Aquila?
Isn't it like this? I think it's like this.
Wakanda forever. Yeah, right. Because it's just a bird.
Next question comes from Warhammer is my life. Yet, you ask, would Yu-Gi-Oh or Warhammer 40k universe win?
Seeing as how Warhammer is your life, I guess it's time to duel.
Yeah, but the Warhammer 40k universe is way better than the Yu-Gi-Oh universe.
Yeah, I mean, put anything against 40k universe and they're pretty much going to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, except like the Teletubby universe. Shishi Bizzle. A fact that people seem to be glossing over in the lore is time travel, for obvious reasons. But the only faction that I know of that has shown to be able to use time travel over and over are the Necrons. My question is, how the hell are they experiencing any difficulties fighting races that aren't even a fraction of the total powers of the old ones combined?
Because they fell asleep and now they're waking up and they're groggy.
Yeah, they're still kind of, like exactly what you said, they're still trying to find their place in this universe that's vastly different than it was before. Yeah, all these races are like almost nothing compared to the might of the old ones, but there's so much. You're in a new environment. You gotta adapt to that environment in order to come out on top, and they're still getting to that stage.
Yeah, because they're not at 100%. When a Necron Tomb world gets awoken, there's so many steps. I think we created a 40 facts video if you check out the Tomb world video, but it talks about like the different steps and the different like what are they called? Just forms, or what are like Necron bodies called? Units, I guess. Whatever unit starts activating first.
And you can have like an earthquake that like kills off a whole bunch of sleeping Necrons. So, yeah. A bunch of crazy stuff can happen.
Next question comes from Bradley Hickman. So Trazen the Collector has a golden power armor guy in his collection. Do you think he's an Adeptus Custodes?
It could be that. It could be Rogel Dorn, or it could be a what's it called? Thunder Warrior.
Yep. Could be any of those three.
Or maybe even a Lost Primarch.
True that. Next one.
This one's by Indigo XYZ18. Do you guys think that the far future, or what do you think the far future will look like? Do you think that in some way it could resemble Warhammer 40k? And if so, in what regard and to what extent? If not, are there any sci-fi worlds that you think will slowly become into the 40k universe?
Realistically, no, I don't think 40k is possible just because of the way that they communicate. I feel like 40k, even though it seems like they communicate pretty quickly between star systems.
Oh, no.
Well, with the astropaths and whatnot.
Right, I mean, telepathically, yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen with us.
Yeah.
That, like, we won't ever have warp-capable ships. So we won't ever experience an Imperium because you can't really control, us on Earth and then a planet, like, that's really, really far away. Like, there's no way to hook them together other than just, I don't know, just saying, like, yeah, that's another human settled world, but it's not part of this world because it can't be. Messages aren't really transferred the same way, and travel isn't the same.
Right, because, like, for example, you have, like, agricultural planets. There's no way that food will be able to come sustain us.
Exactly.
It's going to take too damn long. It'll spoil, and, yeah, it's just not possible.
Yeah, we don't have the warp.
Right, so no matter what happens, the best thing we could do is go into stasis and wait it out.
Yeah. Now, as far as another sci-fi world or universe that might come into being, I think Mass Effect was pretty good. Either Mass Effect or
maybe Halo.
Halo, yeah. What do you guys think? Next question. This one is from PB Unit. What happens when a Kroot swallows a fly?
Nothing, because I mean, in order to gain traits, you gotta eat a lot of it.
So unless he's like going down the highway with his mouth open.
This one's by Austin Hebron. Do you think 40k will release a new race or a faction? It's been 20 years since the tower introduced. I think we're getting close to something new.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna be something Xenos. I think it's gonna be Dark Mechanicum.
Well, they kind of already have that in like Forge World.
Well, they just started.
Yeah, he said 40k. Anyway.
Yeah. As far as the Xeno world or Xeno race, no, I don't think
like something brand new.
Well, like they would bring something from Dark Heresy, so they can bring like the Rakghoul. Well, those are pretty cool. But I would only see that in Necromunda. I really wouldn't see that in well, he did say Warhammer. Yeah, no, I don't think like an army-wide thing is possible, unless it's an Imperium faction or an Imperium offshoot, like the what did I say? Oh, like the Dark Mechanicum. Alright, next question.
Ankaglan the Black. So, I don't know much about Warhammer, but I've always wondered. The Imperium has super strong soldiers, so why not give them like a 50 caliber autocannon, or a 37mm weapon, or some super big shotgun for extra damage? I mean, it would just make sense to have a super warrior with a big gun. They do. Bolters, even though they're like the standard issue, they're still really powerful. Mm-hmm. They shoot a fist-sized bullet that explodes. So think of it as a mix between a grenade and like a grenade and like a bullet, really.
Yeah, it's devastating.
And also, you can't really give everybody, super awesome guns, because first of all, it's expensive. You got to carry heavy ammunition. The gun would be heavy in itself, and yeah, it's just too much manpower and too much production to equip everybody with the best gun.
Yeah, and like Imperial Guardsmen would just die if they use bolter.
Yeah.
At least that's what the lore says. And then I know that's like it contradicts itself sometimes when like you have the orc hunters or commissars that have bolter pistols and bolter guns. Anyways, next question comes from Riley Donald. Old Donald, sorry. If you guys carry on going to the gym, will you soon have to sit further away from the cam or be in frame? Maybe. The work works in mysterious ways. So we might not grow to the side, we might grow like that. Or out. Our faces are just going to go out like that.
And get snouts. I wasn't thinking about faces though, but...
Last question.
This question is by Martin X. Did anyone use jump jet capable sentinels or a battle harness like that in Edge of Tomorrow in order to carry heavier guns? Have you seen Edge of Tomorrow?
I know, I haven't.
So with Tom Cruise and what's her name? Oh, the other actress. She's like in a bunch of like awesome roles. But yeah, they basically use you know which one.
Yeah, I know which one.
They basically use like have you seen like the prototype Iron Man suit?
Yeah.
Think of that just like scaled down. Okay, think of a what's the thing that the Grey Knights use? The big Dread Knight.
Oh yeah, Dread Knight.
Think of that. Like it's you, but you've got like these like harnesses that give you like robotic like arms and stuff like that. So they got that, and they're able to like hit harder, wield bigger weapons and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could give that to all your soldiers in order to have them, with bigger weapons. They could take more damage and that kind of thing. But again, more manpower to build these things. You're gonna need more raw materials, and power sources and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Hope that answers that question.
It didn't.
Thank you so much for sending the questions our way. If you guys have more questions, just comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get those questions first.
And yeah, that's all we got. This is the Sound Alchemist.
Gersh1.
We're out of here.